What's up, guys? Welcome back from the MLG studios here in New York City. You're watching the consolation bracket of the round one losers from the Winter Championship event, a best of 5 from round 1 between Vibe and State. My name is axeltoss, joined by Sir Axslav, recently knighted. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
It's a pleasure, of course, to be knighted. Anyways, Vibe took down game number 1. Game number 2, though, can State come up with a better strategy to deal with him? The map is going to be Cloud Kingdom, and this is typically a great map for 2-base Immortal play.
That is a great point. Cloud Kingdom, another one of those maps that was fairly common in Wings of Liberty. It was pretty much understood, pretty much what's the word, universally accepted as one of the best maps that was produced in Wings of Liberty. I talked to most pros, and they're like, you know what? Cloud Kingdom is pretty awesome. But then I'm like, but it doesn't have a snowy texture like Neoplanet S. And they get mad at me. But
You know, everyone has the things they enjoy to see in maps.
oh, there should be a Cloud Kingdom made with the snowy texture. What would you call it? Ice Kingdom?
Ice Kingdom. Sounds good to me.
Someone make it happen. I don't know if there's copyright issues on that as far as maps are concerned. Who's the map maker of Super OU Man? I gotta talk to that guy. But yeah, Cloud Kingdom always produces great games. I'm not gonna say always, but generally produces very solid gameplay. See some very creative stuff almost all the time. A lot of attack pass. Anyway, let's introduce players. Bottom left-hand location, we have the Red Zerg player who's currently up 1-0 in this best of 5. Representing Team Root Gaming. He is Vibe, the reigning USA National Champion. Runner-up, North American. Runner-up of the North American tournament?
Yes,
his
right
opponent,
behind Scarlet.
Yeah, his opponent in the top right-hand location is from California. He's currently teamless, focusing a lot on school at the moment. Went for an 8-gate in the last game. It did not work out. He is State, a.k.a. Ryan Vizbek. Good friend of mine. Both these guys, I like them a lot.
You know, I think most people would have to agree that Vibe is a definite favorite in the series, of course. Being, you know, the USAWS champion, second place North American. And I think he showed that in Game 1, why he's regarded as being such a strong player. And that that's a attack a lot of Zerg players struggle with, that early gateway attack. I mean, Hux won so many games off it. Grubby's known for doing that a lot as well. But Vibe just, I mean, it's not like State made any obvious mistakes with that build. His Vibe, his scouting was so on point and his reactions were perfect that he actually made it look very easy to defend.
Vibe is, he's one of those players who's really good at identifying what's coming at him. You know, again, we saw that Overlord timing in the last game. He's very aware of his surroundings. Every single unit that he sees on the field, it's gonna tell him something. He's a very smart player. I actually played a PBZ against Vibe in Heart of the Swarm, and I proxy 2-gated him. Do you remember this? Were you there? I don't remember if you were there, but it was one of the Winter Exhibition things we were doing. And I was like, Vibe, don't look in the corner of your base. I shouldn't have said that in chat, in hindsight, but he found my proxy, unfortunately. And I ended up losing the game. But the point is, he's very good at identifying, you know, what's coming, at being well aware of everything that's possible out of his opponent, and adjusting. So we'll have to see if State can come up with something that can throw Vibe off guard, because if you let him play his game and get to the late game without any hindrance to that drone count, it could get very, very scary for you. So.
It definitely can, and like you mentioned, it's not that easy to disrupt him. We can see he's scouting so on point. Zerglings right now checking everywhere, both the bottom right section of the map, the left side of the map. He scanned area in front of his base as well, so very on point with that scouting. I think if State wants to do something to try to basically disrupt Vibe before Vibe progresses into the late game, it's got to be something where if Vibe scouts it, it's okay. Something like a 2-base Immortal play, maybe even a 2-base Blink Stalker, or even just play standard 3-base Tommy attack builds. Those can work fine too.
Very early gases compared to last game here from State, implying he wants to tech a little bit faster. Stargate might be a good option for him here. I know we've been seeing a lot more of that in Heart of the Storm due to the new units that can come out of there. Of course, no +1 yet on the Forge, and that indicates, yes, there is a Stargate. I like the location of this. This is a great place to put any tech structure. It's very hard for an Overlord to get back there because it takes a while. So we'll see if Vibe can identify this. Again, Vibe spotted his opponent's gases at his natural expansion. He spotted the saturation of his opponent. He's spotting the lack of a +1 on his opponent's Forge. So can he put all of this together and come up with you know, something safe, you know, to be prepared for this, right?
He definitely knows it's some type of tech build. The question is it Stargate or is it Robo? Those are pretty much or maybe
Twilight,
DT Rush. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be one of those three. Out of those three, with the speed at which he got the gases, the most likely thing is the Stargate, but it's not 100%. Of course, normally the Robo is built slightly earlier, so the third and fourth gas come a little bit later. Then, of course, Twilight Tech often comes with +1 Zell pressure before it. Did he see it?
No, he barely missed it.
Oh, barely missed it.
However,
One more Overlord. Is this one going to make it?
Is he going to barely miss it? I think he's going to barely miss it again.
He'll see the gateways at least. Oh, no, he's turning up a bit.
He's going to barely miss it again.
No, he's going to see it. Is he going to see it?
God, he saw the chrono. That is the most ridiculous series of Overload Scouts I've seen.
Wow.
Okay, you don't need Evo Chambers for Spores, by the way, ladies and gents, in Heart of the Swarm. But he's putting Evo Chamber down anyway.
So he saw there was something being chrono boosted.
Yeah,
but he couldn't see it was a Stargate?
No, he didn't, man.
So it wouldn't be a Robo if it was placed there. The only other, I mean, it might be a Twilight Council, but I think he's probably pretty confident that it is going to be that Stargate, especially because he didn't see that early +1 on the forward. So that should pretty much tell him exactly what's going on now. But he knows there's gateways too, so it's not like the Stargate's the only threat. There's enough gateways here. There could be a lot of Zealots coming at him as well. So he's going to get that Roach Warren so he can defend that. Infestation Pit being put down. Is he going to go for
Spores yet? I don't think he knows what's happening.
Yeah.
Does he have extra queens, though? No, 4 queens. That's a pretty standard amount for this time of the game. You know, what's interesting is that State obviously doesn't think his opponents saw the Stargates. That's why he's kept the Phoenixes back for so long. It's not like you have that ring that tells you exactly what your opponent sees, like with a scan from an orbital. You don't have that around the Overlords. But now it's irrelevant because Vibe knows exactly what's going on. No additional queens just yet. We just see an additional drone. This queen going to get taken out here at the third base. Now the Spores is going down, so Vibe definitely did not know this was coming. A lot of energy available on these Phoenixes. A perfect amount to take down those queens. Hydra's Den just now starting here from Vibe, hastily trying to put down that Spore Crawler, but those Spore Crawlers, but State doing a great job so far with these Phoenixes and taking a third behind this.
Yes, a lot of damage being done here. 2 Queens and Overseer, and now drones going down as well. One thing you always want to do when you Phoenix harass, that State did very well, is you prioritize killing the Queens first. You can always pick off drones even once the Spore Crawlers get up because you kill them so fast, you can get out before you take anything past shield damage on those Phoenixes. But the Queens, if you don't kill those early, then once they're nearby a Spore Crawler, you can't really pick them up without taking too much damage from that crawler. Vibe is going to try to shark around and get something done with these Roaches, but look at that wall State's made. Of course, he has the Phoenixes as well, intercepting some of the rally, picking up a Roach there as they're trying to cross the map. And I don't think Vibe's going to get too much done here, although State's ground army... Oh, he's got
he can unpower the gateways, but there's plenty of force fields up here. State willing to make that sacrifice in exchange for a few Roaches, but he's going to want to get a pylon there as soon as possible to repower that. Also adding a couple cannons up there would not be a terrible idea as well. I like how he completely walled off this ramp. Some players will just try to do some sort of mega wall to wall off both every entrance to this main base, but State for now just wants this. Now, the interesting thing here is, though, it's going to be a little bit harder to take that fourth. You're going to have to kill one of your gateways, but you know, you can just kill one of the gateways later, and that's not a huge issue. So I think it's a fine decision there from State.
It is. I mean, plenty of Protoss will just never take the fourth. You know, PvZ, there's so many really strong 3-base times you can do that you don't even have to consider that for at least a little while down the road, and by that time killing one gateway is not too big a deal. Vibe really wants to put some pressure on, this time accompanying the Roaches with Hydralisk. And he's going to go all the way around the backside to get around this wall. And this is going to be tricky for State because fighting on this back... Oh, losing a couple Phoenixes. That's not good. Those things actually do help a lot out against Hydralisk during an engagement. As long as you have something else to tank for them, they can pick off those Hydralisks very, very, very quickly.
All right, here Vibe comes with the Roaches and Hydras from this location. Of course, you can't really get the surround you want as a Zerg player from this location because it's a pretty big choke point. So State going to try to utilize those force fields optimally, has Photon Overcharge on the Nexus. The Roaches and Hydras starting to take down the gateway. More force fields going down, trapping one Roach. And State, mission accomplished so far, keeping that army away. But at this point, I don't think he's too scared about that, considering he does have still a sizable amount of force fields. But once those force fields start going away, that's when you have to be scared. But, you know, Vibe, he has swarm hosts in production behind here. So he's not trying to kill his opponent, just trying to buy himself a little bit of time to get that fourth up, get a lot of gas out of that fourth base, and really charge up that swarm host count.
Oh, this other 2 Phoenixes both going down there. State,
watch your Phoenixes, bro.
Not keeping track of those. And 11 Swarm Hosts in production. The Swarm Host follow-up is a great decision here because, of course, the Locust share upgrades with the Hydralisk and the Roaches, so every attack helps them both. And also the great thing is that you have the map control right now with the Roaches and Hydras. The Protoss doesn't want to move out into open because if you max in Roaches, which they think you might be doing, you can hit them from multiple sides, get that full surround, and take out their army. So Protoss will wait for a little bit longer until they have a couple Colossi before they're really going to move out. And that gives you time to get those Swarm hosts across the field and set them up, as we see Vibe doing here, in a really great position to start getting some damage done and just losing those Locusts.
All right, at the very least, he can get a lot of damage done to this gate, this warp gate wall here at the third base of State, and now it's going to be up to State to figure out how to deal with this. Now, if he had some Phoenixes from before, you know, you could theoretically come in and pick those up, right, and then go for that big engagement. But he doesn't have those Phoenixes anymore, so he's going to have to make this work with what he has, which is a few Colossi. He's got a lot of stock. Mothership Core is going to fall. Gonna have to remake that right away. That's something you definitely want. The Hydras and Roach are gonna try to charge up here. Swarm host coming forward as well. Warp Gate Wall is starting to dissolve away, but a Colossus from above should be enough to hold this off for now. But the thing about Swarm host is Vibe isn't losing anything from this.
Yeah, and look at that Colossus. He took significant damage to those Locusts. The force fields can defend for now, but eventually State will run out of those.
Yeah.
Using those to basically segment off the Locusts and keep them back. Vibe, though, is going to back away just a bit. He's afraid that once a couple more Colossi come out with Thermal Lance, then, of course, the Swarm hosts start being in jeopardy, and he's like, you know what? I've got some damage done for free. I've got Vipers in production. I don't want to engage that Colossi force until these Vipers come out, because they're the Zerg answer to the Colossi in Heart of the Swarm. They're by far the best response to them.
State trying to catch some Swarm hosts off guard. He's going to come up to the middle of the map here, killing a lot of buildings that are in production, but Vibe's going to turn around with a lot of his Hydras. Going to send those Locusts out. Do their damage.
And on creep, those Locusts move much faster, of course, just like other Zerg units, so the Protoss has to back away before they lose too many units. Vibe doesn't want to chase too far, though.
No, you don't.
Good. Yeah, I mean, the Locusts, of course, you can chase as far as you want. They're going to die anyway. Why not get a couple Zealot kills? But keep those Roaches and Hydras back. The Vipers now advancing up the line. All of them have enough energy for either an Abduct or a Blinding Cloud. And if he abducts those Colossi, all of a sudden the Roach Hydra Locusts are going to do amazing damage.
Here comes the Viper. The Stalker's blinking forward, the Colossi being pulled into the Locusts and the Hydras. Is that going to be enough here? Vibe. Actually, the supply count is fairly even. State actually taking a lead there. Blinding Cloud going down onto these Stalkers, meaning they're not going to be able to attack when they're underneath that. Moving forward, which brings them closer to the Locusts, trying to blink up to the high ground, trying to take down the Vipers and the Swarm host, but Vibe going to back up as fast as he can, reinforcing with 23 Hydras in that production tab, and Vibe should be able to hold this off.
He should be able to. I mean, the Locust Swarm now, when there's no Colossi left anymore, would do amazing damage if State decides to fight it. State, of course, realizing that there's no point engaging that, backs away. But he's killed all the creep tumors and some of those high ground buildings. So not a total loss for State there in that he wasn't able to kill off those Swarm hosts, because the creep is really what gives those Swarm hosts the ability to help push across the map. It basically extends the range because the Locust can move further. Now State has one more Colossus back in that army. Viper's looking to abduct.
Oh, gotta be careful. Snagging an Immortal there, and that melts in about a half a second. State gonna try to turn around and engage this. Vibe is gonna retreat back a little bit, gonna try to protect that fourth base. Now, what's important here is State hasn't added on a fourth base of his own just yet. If we look at his mineral lines, he's starting to run low in his main base, and of course his natural expansion as well. He has 73 Harvesters, but he has to start thinking about securing a fourth base, because Vibe has been on 4 bases for a while. Hold on, engagement gonna happen here. Time Warp going down onto the Hydras. There's the abduct of the Colossi into this Hydra army, and that means no AoE onto those Hydras, and the Hydra is going to reign supreme here. State forced to back away. Blinding Clouds as well going to help things out. Immortal getting targeted down and killed, and State is on the run. Only Stalkers and Void Rays in its composition. Probably the worst competition to have against this many Hydras.
Definitely. I mean, if it was just Hydras, he could do some fancy Blink Micro. With the Locust there to help tank and add some extra damage, it's definitely in Vibe's favor, as those Locusts do a great job tanking. But now with the Colossus from the high ground, more and more Blink Stalkers come in. The Hydra count has disappeared. The Vipers have, I think they retreated to gain more energy. They're back at oh, he might actually kill his own fourth base there if he's not careful.
Swarm host gotta be careful. Get out of there, Swarm host. The Stalkers blinking forward. Great job from State here. Targeting down these Swarm hosts, trying to prevent them from retreating. Blinking forward even, but here come the Vipers and the Hydras as well. So the Stalkers should start backing away, but willing to trade for another Swarm host before getting out of there. Vibe still up 199 to 98. If we talk about these trades, Vibe is perfectly happy. Losing those Hydras and Roaches, because he can just rebuild them very easily.
I mean, and the thing is at the end of those battles, right? What happens is, of course, they realizes Vibe's army is too big. Well, those battles can be very deceiving, because what happens is the battle ends and Vibe.
Oh, the Hydras are melted away.
He has no units left, and State has like 10 to 15 Stalkers left. You're like, wow, State won that, but Vibe didn't really have no units left. He still had the 12 Swarmos back there, so actually those trades were great for him. I mean, you kill the Colossi and a significant amount of Stalkers, you only have a few left, not to keep pushing forward, and your Swarm hosts never die, as long as you keep them back like Vibe did. Great job by Vibe there, and he basically won the war of attrition for State.
Yeah, I mean, Vibe was on 4 bases that entire time. State on 3 was trying to secure a 4th base, but with that superior economy, Vibe able to replenish those rushes and hydras very quickly. You know, it was on top of his larva inject, so he was able to get that count up. He was never really scared in that department, keeping those important units alive. He lost a few Vipers here and there, but the thing about the Zerg race, you got to keep those gas-intensive units alive, the free units like the Broodlords, the Swarm Hosts, and of course the energy units like the Infestors and the Vipers. Keep them alive, you're going to be a happy camper. It's okay to lose the Hydras and Roaches as long as you're getting okay trades. We see a lot of Zerg players, you know, send 20 Roaches into their opponent's main base. They're okay losing them. Just got to get some decent value out of them. So, again, great game there from Vibe. He's going to go up in this series 2-0 in this best of 5, which means he's 1 win away from advancing to the next round of this consolation bracket that we're calling the Winter Exhibition. Guys, my name's axeltoss, joined by axslav. Stay tuned. Game 3 between State and Vibe coming up.